Historically, audience measurement has sat in its media-specific silos, and you had digital over here and TV over here. Now with technology, where consumers are in control of not only what they watch, but also when, where, and how, these two things needed to kind of come together. Fortunately, we have legacy comScore has a very strong record in digital audience measurement, whether it's panel-based or tag-based, and Rentrak has a very long history, legacy Rentrak has a long history in audience measurement with passively collected viewing data. So combining these two massive data assets, we're in a great spot to be able to do that. And the demand's there.
So tell us how that business develops and sort of where that stands in terms of selling it. Obviously there's some big established players in the space. You guys are not new, but you're newly merged. Right. Where do things go from a business development standpoint?
Well, I think the issue really is trying to answer questions that our customers have, and because now consumers are in control, there's a lot of pressure on the existing business models. Whether it's how do you create content, how do you distribute content, how do you subsidize it with advertising, and so our focus is really on the distributors, the advertisers, and the media owners that are producing content to try to answer their questions. And I think if we focus on customers, then we'll be in a good spot to be able to provide services.
So when you say cross-screen, what's it based on? Is it based on a panel? Is it based on software? Could you kind of tell us a little bit about what the sauce is?
The answer is yes. So going back to digital, media-specific silos, you have digital over here where you have panel-based or census-based, which is tags, and TV you have panel-based, which is legacy Nielsen, and then you have census-based, which is the collection of passively collected behavioral data or viewing data from the set tops. So we want to, we're in a great position in the U.S. because we're collecting data from millions and millions of households. But it doesn't exist that way everywhere in the world. So what we want to do is approach this from panel and census in a big data kind of methodology.
So where does that product roll out over the next 6 to 12 months? What are we going to see? How do you see this so-called cross-platform data becoming part of the lexicon?
Yeah, I think short term you expose existing clients to beta data. You give them an example to see the data before it goes public, and we're doing that now. We're exposing specific clients to specific sets of data so they can get the first read and we can kind of pass the smell check. And I think once we get beyond this beta period, then we'll get into the syndicated delivery of data with a regular cadence, with expectations on when data is going to be available. And I think we'll be there by the end of the year.
So where's the demand coming from? Is it from the brands? Is it from the agencies? Is it from the publisher broadcasters? Is it all, or where does it
from everybody? I mean, if you think about it, so media owners, the guys that create content, need to understand how it's getting distributed and how to what the right windowing opportunities are. Do we just put it on linear TV? When do we make it available in VOD? When does it go in over the air or OTT? The distributors are facing the same questions. They want to understand consumer behavior, so they want to analyze so they have the best products and services and people can find content where, when, and how they want to find it. And the advertisers or their agencies are, they need to find and follow audiences. So I think it's all three of those circles that are intersecting and trying to understand the dynamics of how consumers are, finding content, consuming content, and you want to get your messages in and around that content.
Cool. And what about measuring? I don't know if you're going to answer this on the camera or not, but like Netflix and other paid. We hear about Hulu going to this the subscription. So for broadcasters and publishers who are going this subscription only route, and there's not ads, how does that work in terms of those numbers, the services that you guys can provide?
Well, I think you're going to have to measure those, and so we have technology, this total home panel that sits on the router that's seeing everything that's moved through the router, so we'll get some visibility on consumption and OTT. But again, I look at the economics, so the economics of the traditional paid TV environment, and you want to be able to make sure you're giving visibility for all the players. And so if consumers pay distributors for subscription services, distributors pay media owners for content, advertisers pay media owners to subsidize that content development. Then all of a sudden you have Hulu coming out and taking a lot of money out of that system. So we want to put meters, measurement capabilities on all of those paths, so that we can understand what's really going on.
So how will that roll out, or when do you expect it to roll out?
So right now, total home panel, I think we have like 5,000 homes under measurement. We're getting all the devices that move through that. So that's whether it's a smart TV, whether it's the mobile phones, whether it's handheld devices, whether it's the Internet of Things. So we're starting to look at that data now, and again, we're exposing some clients to it so they can analyze it. We get a lot of customers who are getting a raw feed, so they want to know what devices are being used, but we're also looking at the audience measurement components of it.
Great, and what is your hope, like looking out a year from now, a year from New Mexico perhaps, where cross-green will be?
I mean, to tell you, my soundbite for an answer to that question was, I used to always say that set-top box data will be the raw materials for TV audience measurement in my lifetime, and I've had to make that runway a little bit longer. So sometime this century it's going to happen. But I think the demand's there, and data continues to become more granular, more available, more timely, and I think it behooves all of us to take advantage of those data assets and try to help people solve business issues. And there's a lot of them out there right now with this, what's going on with distribution and media consumption.